What's with the whole ignoring people taking testosterone and then when female or anyone takes estrogen, now that's a problem. Yeah, I'm not making an argument for anything here. I'm trying to just discuss things. You make your own opinions from this video. I'll guide you the other times. But this one, it's a thing I see where this has been acceptable. And it's so acceptable that females take testosterone and we don't call them trans. Well, in some cases, you see a little report here and there, but it's not like anyone's ever watching women's volleyball and say that's not a woman, okay? It's not like we watch tennis on TV and some of the new players were like, that's not a woman anymore, okay? It just totally pushed since the 60s. It just swooped right through society under the radar. Nothing matters. Just like a similar, so many things. It's similar. It's like they take two steps forward and then they go ahead and they point at their left foot and then they take two steps forward again and they're like, my left foot moved forward, check that out, what's happening with the left foot? Take two steps again, they're like, my left foot moved, what does that mean? And you're like staring at the left foot, you're like, what does it mean? It's the left foot, it's doing something. And the right foot comes around with the roundhouse to your head and it's over. And so, this is like one of these many things. Just like from what I researched, the plastic surgery thing actually comes from having your molars removed to look like a Hollywood star. So, so people always like, you got a jawline. And it's like, I noticed, I have that jawline. But apparently, back in like the 1940s or something, people started getting their molars removed so they could have this jawline and stuff. Because I guess it's possible if you remove the back teeth here that this will sink in further and you'll get that that wanted look and stuff. That socially acceptable model look. I mean, hello, who's telling us what those looks are, right? So they're the ones doing that stuff. They're the ones doing that. They're the ones who push the testosterone as well. But why do we just ignore that? Is it because men are weak and cowardly when it comes to certain things, and then on the other side they're also a little secretive, maybe, pushy in their own right? Or is it just simply that Hollywood has swept it in? I mean, it's like the Santa Claus thing. It's like, has anyone ever really sat around and thought about that? Like, what's Santa Claus? What the hell is this? Like, they change it to Jesus worship, and then it's just like it's the frickin' solar down cycle. I can't think of the word right now, but I know it because I'm explaining it. It's the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Okay, it's the solar down cycle. So it's a function of people worship that time of the year for sun worship, and then the pagans, did it to gather together in cold months to feed their families, the people of the north. And so, but Santa Claus, what the hell is that? It's like an anagram for Satan, and it also mirrors some of the hot cold. I mean, he brings you coals like the devil would if you're bad and stuff. But anyways, it's like, how did they sneak that in? Like, They probably snuck that in the same way they do some of these other things. You know, right foot forward, look at the left foot, keep your eyes on the left foot. Here comes the right foot. And so it's like acceptable, right? And in fact, I've seen, combining these two topics of body modification, I've seen where the only person who was famous talking about this stuff, he was open about actually getting, like a man was getting implants and stuff. Okay, and you don't know that. Okay, he's like, it's not even talked about. Like, all we know about is women get their plastic surgery and young boys are taking their estrogen shots. And it's like, there's like a whole nother group, just as probably even larger. We don't know how many men are getting the plastic surgery because there's only really one who talked about it. I'm assuming they were losing too much money to let him keep going on, so he departed early. Yeah, but that exists, right? Okay, I mean, we worship these things. We worship the men who are taking the testosterone, and we defame the men who are taking the estrogen. And we kind of do the same with the women who are taking the testosterone, though we would know. I don't know what happens if a woman takes estrogen. And they don't. You don't talk about these certain things. It's like half of the story all the time. It's half of the story, half of the story, half of the thing going on, and then they move to, well, we gotta stop this. We want to pass a law to stop this, and that's not right. That's child mutilation. And it's like, yeah, you've been doing child mutilation for thousands of years, according to history. Why are we concerned with it now? Oh, the left foot has moved forward. Keep your eye on the left foot. That's it. That's the best I can come up with for why that exists like that. In all honesty, men generally aren't like people, or at least the ones I think I'm fucking wrong. I think I just value my friends enough to be dumb enough to trust them. Because I mean, look, the whole culture, like the steroid culture, must be everywhere, right? Police, prison guards, athletes. You telling me those people? It's not even just steroids, right? That's incorrect. It's chemical alteration. Of course, getting plastic injections would not help like a football player, so they're probably not getting injections to look cool. That is probably, an assortment of things, steroids, human growth hormone, along with other things to spike insulin production, things like that. And who knows what stuff we don't know about is out there because no one talks about it. But that always like weirds me out. How I'm not saying I'm for or against anything, but when these topics get brought up, I'm always looking at it like, wow, like it's entirely acceptable to take a test, and it just, I mean, you're not going to go anywhere in life, it looks like, unless you're doing stuff like that. From watching TV, apparently you don't go nowhere unless you alter yourself. I mean, like I said, the stars back to, I think, the 40s were getting their molars removed so they get that sunken in jawline right here. As beautiful as that might look to some people, and I don't know, like, the purpose to going that far. I mean, whatever. If it works, it works. I'm not really trying to down anyone for whatever they do, but I just think it's an interesting point of discussion that things go one way and not the other way.